President Trump has endorsed a 6-month extension of government funding, known as a continuing resolution or a famous CR, that would fund government operations at current levels through the remainder of the fiscal year. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the details in the continuing resolution could be released as soon as today. Right now, Republicans hold a slim 218 to 214 majority. Members of the House Freedom Caucus, that is, of course, a bloc of roughly 3 dozen hardline conservatives, now whipping support for the plan backed by the president, which would basically freeze government spending levels and prioritize the president's first-year legislative agenda. Now, with the clock ticking down, we are joined by Bobby Eberle. He's a Republican strategist and the host of the 13-minute News Hour about this. Welcome. Speaker Johnson believes he has enough votes to pass this spending bill. Is he right?
I think he's right. Yeah, I was talking to some folks over there at the White House, and when you have President Trump, give this address to Congress and multiple polls, CBS and CNN come up with 60, 70, even close to 80% approval, the guy's going to get what he wants. And what he wants right now is this clean CR, freezing the levels at the current spending, not as Hakeem Jeffries wants to increase spending. He wants them frozen so they can focus on DOGE and getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, and also continuing the work that they're doing at the border, both with Border Patrol, keeping people from coming in, and the ICE deportations, which have been so effective and gained such support from the American people. He wants to continue that. The only thing I'd really throw in there that I'd love to see is the fact that DOGE has already identified some waste, fraud, and abuse, so don't fund that. If there's USAID funds in there, because the courts are already stepping in saying, hey, you've got to pay for this. Congress approved it. Well, here's a chance for Congress to not approve it, to get things out that don't need to be there. And then when it comes September, there's already confidence that they can pass the actual appropriations bill. So we get something novel called a budget. And I think this is the way to go.
Yeah, Bobby, you raise a great point, because rescission, is going to be a big deal going forward, to literally have Congress have a say as to these DOGE cuts to make sure they get codified into law and then they don't come back. So that's a great point. Also, let's talk about the DOE, the Department of Education. You had White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt say, and here she is on Twitter, saying Trump was never going to sign an executive order yesterday. That would have dissolved, of course, the Department of Education. She blamed the rumors that he would sign it on fake news. What's your take about this? I mean, like I said at the top of the show, I was talking to the White House this morning. It appears that executive action is going to be what's going to happen here, not executive order. But either way, the dismantling is coming, Bobby.
Exactly. Yeah, I loved your points that you made, David. And dismantling is the key word. He doesn't want it. We don't want it. It's been an abject failure since, 1979 when it was created. Get that money back to the states, get the power back to the states, but you got to do it in a way that is effective. And because this has been a department so long, a lot of it has been codified, so it does need congressional action. And when it comes to the Senate and needing to break that filibuster, we just don't have the votes right there. But the president can do things to just make the department ineffective and get power back to the states. I think that's the right approach, because it can get things done rather than an executive order that's immediately challenged and immediately opposed by the Democrats, and then we are spinning our wheels.
Great point.
Well, Democrat Senator John Fetterman calling out his own party for how they acted during President Trump's joint congressional speech on Tuesday. Fetterman says his party is, quote, becoming the metaphorical car alarm. It goes off and everyone just tries to ignore the annoyance. Bobby, do you believe the behavior witnessed from them will be their own undoing with the American people?
I think it has been, and that's what was so powerful. In addition to Trump's leadership, this was a strong message sent in the November elections, is we don't want this type of behavior. We don't want this type of agenda. And anytime there's a major event, there's a chance to send a message. So obviously, President Trump had the pulpit. He's up there. He had the lectern, and he's going and he's giving his message. But the Democrats have an opportunity to send a message too. And their message was in the form of these stupid signs, sitting on their hands, and protesting. And so you've got to wonder, okay, what are they trying to send there? Because anything they did is counter to what the American people want. They continue to do it, and they haven't learned anything from the November elections.
And Bobby, there's fresh reporting this morning that yesterday Hakeem Jeffries, there in the House, the leader for the Democrats, called in Jasmine Crockett and a few other vocal Democrats and said, hey, what are you doing? You're killing us, basically. I'm paraphrasing. Said, stop it. This is really an interesting time for Democrats because normally we always talk about how they're always in lockstep. I mean, Trump has talked about this. You know, he goes, I'm always jealous of the Democrats because they're always, they stick together. We are seeing literally a fracturing before our very eyes, and Trump's the reason.
Yeah, they always have been. But here's the deal is that they've been unified in this echo chamber of this radical woke Marxist agenda that's been completely rejected. So that's their only spokespeople. And so, yeah, Jasmine Crockett's going to get in front of a microphone. And I saw 2 different interviews from her post-speech. And she sounds not only ridiculous, but just crude and nasty. I'm sorry to say. And it's like, but they don't have any other spokespeople for what America wants. They're scrambling right now because they don't represent, there's no chief spokesman in their AOC or Jeffries or Jasmine Crockett. These people are the worst, but that's all they have.
Yeah, Bobby, I think that what they've done for years has just been say, hey, we better all circle wagons because if we don't, we might lose our USAID funding that pads all of our pockets and our insider trading and all the rest of it. But all that's going away, so now they're fighting. It's interesting to see. I always wondered what held them together. Now we know. Bobby Eberle, thank you.
All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends. Share it. Spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.